And there it is.
Tip of your tongue, your dick in my bong.
Yeah, we'll catch up with that after. We'll catch up with the draft after this one. Because I have no idea what's been happening. And I'm okay with it. For the first time.
For the first time in a long time, a woman made Josh feel like a real man.
No.
And let me tell you, he said it was magical, folks, so I can only believe that's what he meant.
Magic carpet ride was what it was.
What do we got going on this Friday or Saturday?
Always Saturday.
Always Saturday?
This isn't
All right, hold on.
a shtick. No, it's a bad word for it.
After. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. After an amazing fight last weekend at UFC 261, we bring it back to the beautiful city of Las Vegas for UFC Fight Night. On Saturday, we have Dominick Reyes versus Josh's
Procházka.
favorite person,
Procházka.
Jiri Prochzka. Josh, what are you looking forward to the most in this fight? Take it away, this whole card.
Oh, man. You mean to run it down?
You run it down as much as you want. You can either run it down, you talk about a couple fights, whatever you want.
Yeah, there's a lot of good matchups on this card. Like, really good matchups. One of them being, like, and, you know, there may not be a huge name value on this card. One of the things, like, a lot of people don't know Merab Dvalishvili.
They don't know Merab?
But he's got the record in the UFC for most takedowns in a fight, you know, because he will take you down at absolute will. Sean Strickland, and I'll refer back to Uncle Chael Sonnen, he said Sean Strickland is one of the best fighters he has ever seen in his entire life. And he's 22-3. Not a lot of people know about Sean Strickland yet, but he thinks he could be a champion in the UFC. And he's fighting Krzysztof Jotko. Sean Strickland's 22-3. Jotko's 22-4. That's pretty crazy.
Definitely pretty evenly matched if you come to the records.
Kutaleba's he's a brawler. He's going to get in your face. He's going to try to punch you. Dustin Jacoby is what you would maybe describe as a journeyman. He was 7 years apart between UFC stints. He was in the UFC, and then he was out of the UFC for 7 years. He's back, and he's on a 2-fight win streak in the UFC. He is not easy to deal with. Cub Swanson co-main event. Giga Chikadze he's going to leg kick you to fucking death. And Cub Swanson is an absolute savage. We saw him in his last fight. He can still do it. He can KO you.
Oh, he can bring the power. He can bring the fury.
I love Cub Swanson.
He can come at you like a wild rabid bear. That's why they call him the Cub.
Dominick fucking Reyes is back after losing to Jan Blachowicz, and he's fighting Jiri Prochzka, who is 27-3. That's a fantastic record.
That is a great record.
But how many fights does he have in the UFC? 1. And who was that against? Volkan Ozdemir.
And
who
what
did
happened?
Volkan Ozdemir fight? Daniel Cormier. I mean, that's one of the GOATs right there. And he'd flatline him. He completely dominated. Or you got to go watch this on the UFC Instagram. They showed Jiri Prochazka's fight pretty much in entirety on UFC's Instagram page.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people were not impressed in the comments with Jiri Prochazka. They were not impressed with his performance. He did win, and he did get the knockout, but people were not impressed because he got tagged a lot. So in this fight, people are thinking that
If
Dominick
Reyes
could
a
land
shot
some
or two.
shots. Maybe. I don't know. Dominick Reyes, 12. Think of this. 12-2 versus 27-3. That's a lot of, even though he's only got 2 fights in the
mat
UFC.
time is in this instance. Cage time is important. Cage time is important. How much time have you had in there? How much experience have you had in fights? Now,
What about UFC time, though?
the thing is
Because Reyes might edge him in UFC
I was going to
time.
say, well, it's not. We shouldn't look at it as UFC time. What we should look at him
Cage
is
time.
cage time. But we should look at it is we should look at this as veteran time.
Yeah.
How many people has Jiri fought that have been true, actual competition, and how many people has Dominick Reyes fought That is, excuse me, knocking my mic
Oh
all
yeah,
over here.
he fought.
Dominick
he
Reyes
did fight,
fighting
the John
actual
Jones.
good competition.
He fought the John Jones.
Jan Blachowicz. He fought John Jones. He fought one-legged Chris Weidman. He fought Volkan Ozdemir. He fought St. Preux, Cannonier. I mean, he has a litany of guys on his behalf that he has stepped in there with some of the best of the best.
Well,
So that, to me, lends a little bit more than just having a bunch of fights that under your belt. You know what I mean? It's the talent that you have faced and learned from in your wins and your losses.
well, let me read you Jiri Prochazka's last 9 fights, okay? We'll start with this one. Round 1, punches. Round 1, punches. Round 1, punch. Round 1, punches. Round 1, punches. Round 3, punch. Round 1, punches. Round 1, left hook. Overhand right, round 2. 9 in a row. Knockouts. He's a psychopath. He is. I don't. And I feel like he does not get knocked. The last time he lost was in 2015. That was the
to
last.
Muhammad Lawal.
To King Mo. And then he avenged that loss in 2019. He fought King Mo again. And he avenged it. He wrote that wrong. So technically, Jiri has 2 losses. Because if you beat the guy that beat you, then you didn't lose to him.
That's totally how that works.
What's the last thing? What was the last encounter these two had? Oh, Jiri beat his ass. So, it really didn't matter the first time because the last time they saw each other, well, Jiri won, and he's got a sick haircut. I mean, look at Jiri's haircut. There might be some UFC sanctions going on with that. They might tell him to because he's got like a red flag in his hair. It's like
Is
a
that illegal?
string.
Why
You
would
can't
that be
fight
illegal?
With a string in your hair or something? I don't know.
Oh, you mean it's an actual flag,
I
like
don't-
an
I don't-
actual piece of substance?
Look, on Saturday night, Jiri's going to have something
Fabric.
going on with his hair. And he's
Where
gonna
are
have
you
some
seeing
fabric
this
in
hair
it.
picture at?
Oh, go to his Instagram. It's
Instagram,
magnificent.
Jesus.
One fight that I want to start with on this card is a prelim.
Oh, I see you. I see what you're saying.
Oh,
yes.
he's got like a buzz cut.
That's
but then
definitely
he's got like
going to be
a
not
yarmulke.
allowed.
and then a ponytail and then like a red flag off of it.
Yeah, that will not be allowed.
You sure? I mean, it looked pretty sick though.
Can't fight with a do rag on.
And we'll get to that fight, more. We'll talk about it in depth. I want to start with TJ Brown versus Kai Kamaka. This is this is one of the matchups I'm talking about. The matchups on this card are spectacular. Not just betting odds, but
Fighting
the matchups.
odds.
Kai Kamaka is a tank. TJ Brown is hungry. He trains out of Glory MMA Fitness. He's from Arkansas, but he trains in Lee Summit, or he has at least for this camp. And to stay in the UFC, to stay in this promotion, TJ Brown, downtown TJ Brown, has to win this fight. He absolutely has to win this fight. He lost to Jordan Griffin. He lost to Danny Chavez. He won on the Contender Series, but people know you go 0-3 in the UFC, your time's probably, coming to an end.
Well,
so this is
and-
when you're 0-2, your back is against the wall, and Kai Kamaka is not an easy opponent.
No, not at all. And in my experience, the Brown typically always
The downtown Brown
goes downtown.
He'll go downtown.
So I've got my money on TJ over Kai.
Slight underdog in that fight in Kai Kamaka. I mean, that's a prelim fight, but I really think it's going to stand
Worth the
out
wait.
on this card.
Worth the watch.
And then, good matchups throughout, and go look at Dana White's if you don't know now. He highlights some other ones on the prelims, but then you go to Merab, Divashvili, and Cody Stamann. Cody Stamann has always fought the best guys at featherweight. He's always been up there. Or bantamweight, featherweight. He's always been fighting tough guys. Merab is kind of new, but what he has shown us in the short time that he's been a prospect, a contender, is that he is an absolute tough time to deal with. He's terrible he's not a good time. But the one thing that throws me off is he was going he was gonna jump in a lake of ice, it was still iced over, so he tried to dive in it, and he landed completely on his face.
Yeah, that is
and then
not
landed
good,
on his
Cotton.
head. So I'm wondering if he's really that smart, because that wasn't smart. He just jumped in a pool of ice
also,
and
it's
landed on
not
his
just
fucking
smart
head.
because it's dumb, but it's not smart because you could hurt your career by doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it was very stupid. So that makes me question his smart, his I don't
His
know,
intelligence.
his intelligence. It makes
There
me
we go.
question his intelligence. Cody Stamann's 19-3. That's a good record.
That's a great record.
Mirab's 12-4, but Mirab is a heavy favorite in this fight because of the takedown threat. He can basically take down anyone. You know, he could take down anyone. He wears the
You can
Khabib.
take down anyone.
He wears the Khabib hat. He wears that blonde hat.
Oh, I forget what that's called, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
He wears that after his fights. So I think this is a potential dog that could make you some money. Cody Stamann is not, and he's very confident too. So and Cody Stamann, a lot of the times when he's scheduled for fights, it seems like he's outgunned in these matchups and he's outmanned. He just has not enough weapons. But this time, I think he might. He might be able to stop the takedown, and if he does stop the takedown, shit, Mirab might be in trouble. We'll see what Mirab's stand-up look like.
What's funny
yeah,
to me is when you
that's
look
a
at
good one.
both these guys, it looks like a matchup from the early days of UFC. When you just look at both of these fighters in general, the way that they fight, their styles, how aggressive they are, but also how ground oriented they are. It just reminds me of like a classic, like early UFC mid 2000s clash, and that's what I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be, you got the Spartan versus the Machine, two great nicknames, by the way. I think this is going to be something that is going to be entertaining for sure, and also I think it could be an upset. Stamann could come in there and really catch Devashili, or Devilishvili. How
you said it good the first time.
Devashili,
Devashili.
kind of off guard. But at the same time, Mirab has every single chance to regain and recapture that momentum because he can squelch your momentum really quick. So this is going to be. I would put my money on this potentially being one of our top picks and fights.
Yeah,
of the
maybe
night.
a dog you could hit on, because Mirab is pretty heavily
Definitely
favored.
in the betting, definitely on the
And-
betting side.
Yeah, by fight night, those might close a lot. And then another one is the very next fight: Sean Strickland, Krzysztof Jotko. Sean Strickland's got an interesting story. He's a very interesting guy. He lost to Kamaru Usman or when he was 9-1, beat Court McGee, Norton Taleb. He beat Brendan Allen. And that's who Brendan Allen called out. Brendan Allen, by the way, UFC 261. He won by leg lock on Carl Robertson. That was a good performance. And that's who Brendan Allen called out after that UFC 261 performance was Sean Strickland, because Sean Strickland KO'd him. And I really
Trying to get a little revenge factor on
I
him.
really like Brendan Allen. So if Strickland and Brendan Allen was saying, you better win this fight, and then we can run it back, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
According to Tapology, this is interesting. Worldwide, Sean Strickland is the number 17th ranked middleweight. Krzysztof Jotko is the number 18th ranked middleweight
Really?
in the world. They are very close. Jotko is tough. I remember Jotko in his last fight because I bet against Jotko. And that was something that you shouldn't do. And it was against Eric Yo Boy Anders. And who did
boy.
Eric Anders, you're only as good as your last fight. That's why I bring these up. Eric Anders beat Darren Stewart, and Darren Stewart the dentist, right? Darren the dentist. He almost KO'd him, but then he hit him with an illegal knee, but he was going to KO him. So Jotko is absolutely for real. Sean Strickland is absolutely for real. This fight
Is about to be
is going to be insane.
for real.
I can't believe this fight. I don't have a pick for this fight. I'm going to sit back and enjoy Sean Strickland and Krzysztof
I've got a pick for
Jotko.
this fight right here,
You
right
do?
now.
Okay.
America.
Wow. Sean Strickland.
Strickland with the win. America beating them.
And we talk about Uncle Chael, but there's a video of Uncle Chael describing Sean Strickland, and it makes you really like the guy. It really does. And then go follow him on Instagram. He's great. But Krzysztof Jotko is not a motherfucker to play with. He's not. He's a fantastic fighter. I like this fight a lot. I really like that fight. Then you go to Kutaleba. We touched on it.
Touched on a little bit.
Jacoby.
The Hulk coming in versus Jacoby.
Jacoby's kind of, he's coming back.
I got Kutaleba in this. I just think
Me
that
too.
he needs a solid win under his belt right now.
Well, he fought Dustin Jacoby fought Maxine Grisham pretty recently, and I thought Grisham won that fight. Went to a decision. I thought Grisham won it. He didn't. Kutaleba is too big of a step up for Jacoby, and I hope that proves to be true because Jacoby will leg kick Kutaleba, but if Kutaleba can get in, then it could be a short night for Jacoby. But Jacoby,
Kutaleba has lost 3 of the last 4. Now, granted, he lost to Glover Teixeira. He beat Khalil Roundtree, and then had a very controversial loss against the first Magomed Ankalaev. Then, obviously, they ran that back. He still ended up losing at the end of that. Definitively got knocked out. Or stoppage by TKO. But
where's his head at? You got a question, how does that feel?
I think that there was a lot of emotion carried over from the first fight versus Ankalaev, and that's why I think he wasn't quite on his game enough. I think he was overrun with emotion. I think there is no emotion in this Dusty Jacoby fight. I think he's just coming in pure, I need to win,
I have to win.
and I will. So that's why I'm
like
going.
that pick, too.
Yeah, that's why I'm going, obviously, with Kutalaba, and I think that's going to be the good pick.
It's weird, though, because Jacoby... He trains at Factory X Muay Thai, or it just might be Factory X. The head coach of that is Mark Montoya.
Really?
One of the best coaches here is James Krause. And you know who James Krause, when James Krause fights, you know who's in his corner?
Mark Montoya.
As his coach?
Oh, as his coach?
Mark Montoya.
Who is his coach?
So obviously, this guy's kind of a genius if he's coaching our boy James Krause.
Gotta be.
Because he's his coach. He's the coach's coach.
He's the coach's coach.
Because
I'm your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
I wanted to talk about this. I feel like James Krause could corner himself, essentially.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He leans on Mark Montoya. So, obviously, there's something there. Mark Montoya is a good coach. So, don't sleep on Jacoby in this fight. Don't sleep on Jacoby. But I'm picking Kutaleba for sure. 100%.
Which leads us to the next fight. Cub Swanson's versus... You said earlier, you said Chickadaisy. I say chickadees, Giga chickadees.
Giga Chikadze.
Chikadze? I say chickadees, but that's just me.
That guy, talk about leg kicks. This guy
got
is
a
going
couple
to...
Georgians in the fights here tonight, or here on Saturday.
You know who's a Georgian national citizen? Mike Dixon. Remember Mizzou basketball?
Why? Oh, it's because he played over there, huh?
Played over there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's a Georgian national citizen, and he balls on the Georgia national team.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Zaire Taylor plays for the London Lions, and he was MVP
Fun
of
fact,
the league.
Ricardo Ratliff is a Korean citizen.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at this. There we go.
Mizzou basketball.
Mizzou
man.
basketball. Overseas,
Fantastic.
baby. Marco Porter Jr. plays for the Nuggets.
So a fellow Michael Dixon brother in country,
and fighter,
his fellow countryman,
GG Chickadees, over here as a Georgian.
You messed me up when you say it. Gigi.
It's
Giga Chikadze. Giga Chikadze, and Cub Swanson. I like Cub Swanson.
I haven't seen a UFC fight with so many horrifically pronounced names in a long time.
Oh man, I'm in there. I got these.
Jiri Prochzka, Gigi Chickadees, Kryzhov Jotko, Mirab Davasheli, Polania Batolio.
You got the Divasheli right.
Divasheli I got. Gabriel Benitez, Kai Kamaka, Luka Bunmi,
Oh God.
Andres Michalidis, and Felipe Corrales. I have not seen a UFC fight with this much. Probably the UFC announcers are going to be practicing.
Chikadze. I got it down.
Practicing this week.
Christoph Jotko, Giga Chikadze, Mirab, Divasheli.
Cub Swanson,
That's all
Chickadees.
that matters
Who do you got
in this fight? I don't have a pick for this fight.
I got Cub Swanson winning outright. There, bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, right in the clam.
He looked fantastic in his last fight, coming off an ACL.
Yeah, I think he's hungry.
It was a fantastic story to see Cub Swanson come back after such a long layoff and then KO a dude. It's like, dude, you are a complete savage. How the fuck do you do that?
Savage.
But Giga Chikadze has so much volume. if he puts the volume on Cub Swanson, it could be a really tough fight for Cub.
Leading to
And
the
Giga
absolute
is a good
ending
fight.
final fight of the night. Dominick Reyes versus Jiri Prochzka.
Procházka.
We've already covered it a little bit, but I want to see what your final pick of the night is.
I've watched one fight of Jiri Prochazka, and it was against Volkan Ozdemir, and that was absolutely enough for me to be 100% on the Jiri Prochazka train. I will never pick against him, and I am absolutely a fan. I was going to borderline say I love the guy, but I'm definitely a fan of the guy. And Dominick Reyes doesn't have near the experience that Jiri Prochazka has. He's not as crazy as Jiri Prochazka. He's going to find out very quickly in this fight that Jiri Prochazka is a different kind of dude. He is not a normal human being. He's going to hurt you.
He's somebody that we like to say should not be fucked with.
He's going to hurt Dominick Reyes, I feel like.
Okay,
But
well,
an interesting side, Dominick Reyes went dark this camp. He was off social media completely. He's solely focused on this fight for probably 3 months. So that's an interesting.
This might blow your
who
mind a little
who
bit.
knows what that
this
means?
might blow your
Who
mind a
knows
little
what
bit,
that
Josh.
means,
But I'm picking Reyes.
don't blow my mind.
I'm picking Reyes, and the only reason I'm going against Jiri Prochazka is because I know you love him so much. I just want to see you cry sometimes.
Well, you like Umar Nurmagomedov like too much, honestly. Umar Nurmagomedov.
No.
Yeah, you really like that
No.
guy.
So, when you want to pick the guys that I like, make sure that I know who you're picking, because else I can't back that up.
You like Umar.
No,
You love Umar.
no,
Yeah, you do.
no.
Okay. Well, all right. I tried, man. I tried to give you a guy.
I'm a big Divicelli guy,
Risky. Okay.
big time,
See, I mean,
big time Divicelli. I'm all in on Divicelli.
the guy that jumps.
That's the kind of
guy
guy
that jumps into ice.
That's the kind of guy that would bring macaroni and cheese to a freaking cookout.
Well,
Something that everybody loves.
Well, he jumps into a pool, but it turns out the pool is made of ice, and so he just busts his head open.
Yeah.
So he's not very smart.
Yeah, you know what? Doesn't need to be smart to be a badass fighter.
That's true. It'll just take you down, and then, we'll see. Not a very entertaining fighter.
You don't
but,
need to
I
be
mean,
smart.
Okay.
Look at Mike Perry's career.
Oh, and-
Oh, had to get the burn on Mike Perry in there at the end.
It's okay. We got
Josh loves Mike Perry.
We have to mention Mike Perry every show, and if we
Obligatory Mike Perry talk.
if we mention him, then I'm fine. I'm happy with it. So we got our Mike Perry in, we got our Jiri Prochazka, and we got our Modestas Bukauskas.
Modestas.
And there it is.
There you go.
UFC Fight
UFC
Night,
Fight Night.
May 1st, Saturday. What is this? UFC Vegas 25. Jiri Prochazka versus Dominick Reyes. 205 main event. Dana White says this fight had to happen, and it's going to happen Saturday.
Gonna be awesome.
I can't wait.
Can't wait for it. Absolutely fantastic. Look out for these shows coming up. Obviously, we are here every week for you guys, breaking down all the fighters, the news, and the news about the fighters. What you guys got? Don't even care. Put it in the comments section.
Please.
Peace.